Hello, everybody. This is Conquering History Games, and welcome to a year in review video that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be in this video talking about 2018, and then probably tomorrow, because when you're watching this, it should be New Year's Eve. And then tomorrow, on New Year's Day, I'll have a video out that talks about what I want to do in 2019. So this is going to be very informal. I don't really have any notes on this, but I just wanted to talk for a while about how I feel my 2018 went, how things that I think that went well, things that went badly, and I thought the best way to kind of go through it would be via my created playlists here. Now, I think the first campaign I did of 2018 was the Crusader Kings 2 Ireland, and so I just wanted to kind of go through these. Some of these I'll talk about more, some of these I'll talk about less. And talk about the successes and failures of the channel as I go. And then maybe at the end I'll talk about some personal stuff about like how my 2018 went, but you guys can just turn it off when you get there if you're not interested in that sort of thing. So yeah, let's start with CK2 Ireland. So I mentioned this campaign in my I mentioned this campaign in my top 10 campaigns of 2018 video, not as one of my favorite campaigns, but as one that I thought was really important for the channel. This was not the first Crusader Kings 2 thing I ever did, but with my start here as King Torlbach, this was actually as one of my cats is having a sneezing fit there. She's sniffing some dust or something. Anyway, so it was this was the first time I had played a historical character in Crusader Kings 2 for the channel that wasn't on a pre-bookmarked time period. So the 1066 start, or the frickin' the Alexiad start and things like this. As you can see, I'd gone to 1106, and I just started as King Torlbach, and I had actually been inspired to do this. I'm remembering now, by my trip to Dublin that I had taken at the start of 2018. That was amazing, by the way. But because I saw this cross reliquary that he had made, and it's actually the one that is in the thumbnail. So I was inspired by that to play him. And this one went pretty well. You definitely should check it out. We did end up forming the Empire. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how far along I got. It was one of those games I had to really kind of crawl before I could run, but once I got going, I really got going. So this was a really fun campaign, and like when you look in terms of the view count, at least especially in the first episode, we had 30,000 people and counting that watched this first one. Oh, by the way, just pay no mind to anything that's in the recommendeds here on the right. Believe me, I hardly actually watch YouTube videos anymore. It's so now the recommendeds are by what I upload. So and I think I've broken, this is kind of a digression, I was going to talk about this later, but I think that I've actually broken YouTube's recommended algorithm sort of thing, because I'm always uploading videos that are about different historical time periods, and I play politically different ways. So especially like with my Kaiserreich America campaigns, you've got the I'll be playing totalism, I'll be playing socialists, I'll be playing Pelly, who's Jim Crow, Douglas MacArthur, the Pacific States, and all the different democratic ideologies, and so especially since like October, YouTube's recommendeds has just been freaking out on me, and I just get all sorts of videos that have nothing to do with one another ideologically. So I'll have one that's talking about how all the immigrants are coming into the country to like fuck us all up and rape us and kill us all, but then I'll have like super like how guild socialism can work in the 21st century. I'll get like videos like that. And then actually, this is a really funny one, because I have Paradox Interactive and all the tags for my Paradox Interactive games. I start to get like riddle videos or like mind game videos that talk about paradoxes. Get it? So that's just kind of funny. So what I'm just saying is, anything you see here on the right, don't judge me by it, because it means nothing to me. It's just really funny. And like, yeah, like, why is baseball on here? I didn't even keep up with baseball this year. Anyway. So the CK2 one was really, this was a really important series to me, because this felt like the true start of CK2 being something that actually had a fan base on the channel. So I really enjoyed it because of that. And more importantly, besides, because it's not so much views that I care about, I really enjoy when people are engaged. So like let's say like we just went like episode 16 or something. Okay, we got like 10 comments, so people are at least commenting on it, even if they're just talking shit. But I really do appreciate when people are engaged in the series, because it shows, when people are commenting, it shows me that they're actually watching it. And that's not always the case in all of my videos, as I'll talk about later. So let's close this up. All right, progress reports for Kaiserreich. So this was something I was doing for a while. I'm going to try to pick it up again now that the China stuff is getting worked on. I think I was doing these mostly at the beginning of the year, and I picked them up again later in the year. But it was basically my attempt to show the progression of Kaiserreich as it is developed. I don't think it's... How do I say it? This is not something I really prioritize continuing to do in the new year, although I do want to try to keep up with the China stuff, because the China stuff is going to be really complicated, and I know that I mostly have a Western audience just from looking at my analytics. I do have like people in Australia and Japan and stuff like from the Eastern Hemisphere who watch me, but it's mostly a Western audience who probably doesn't know very much about China and its history. And then this is going to be a radically, not radically different, but a very, very interesting alternate history take on China. So I'm going to try to do those. But I think the progress reports and the Minor Monday, it's just too much to do in addition to the other stuff that I've got planned. So I think that this was, I don't want to say it was a failure, but it's definitely not something I think I can find myself doing unless I was a full-time YouTuber, you know, so that I could take the time out of my day to read these reports and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so over here we have one of my favorite campaigns I did this year. This was a co-op campaign, the Irish-American Coalition, that I did with Gurr, who's a subscriber, a Patreon, and one of the moderators on my Discord. Super fun campaign. I was Ireland, he was the United States. I love the thumbnail. I was just so happy with this thumbnail, and we had a lot of fun. You know, I helped him win the Civil War. Then, you know, he helped me invade the English, and then we kept going from there, and it just turned into a really, really fun campaign. A lot of, you know, it's really rare that I could do these co-op type games. I think I've only got 3 of them on the channel, just because it's difficult to get everybody together for one. But this was definitely one of my favorites, and I was the first person on YouTube. Nobody's ever disputed this, and I looked around because I used to not think that this was actually a possible alliance. But as far as I could tell, nobody else on the internet had posted anything showing that this Irish-American coalition was actually possible until we did this. So I'm very happy with this campaign and how it turned out. So you should definitely check that one out. It's one of my favorites ever, and I do plan to return to talk about Ireland in the future. Do a solo run of it, but after I'm done with my current Kaiserreich ones. So over here we have Waking the Tiger. Obviously this came out in March. This was on the early access version that I had been given. I was very pleased with how this went. I played it on Elite difficulty. I know most people were playing Communist China, and I never really got around to it, at least not on the channel. But I was more interested in doing this because right before Waking the Tiger had been announced in 2017, I had played a Road to 56 campaign as China, also on Elite difficulty. I think it was on Elite difficulty. And then I think it was the day the last video went up or close to it, I found out that Waking the Tiger got announced, and so I said, okay, I'm going to do the two and compare them. I would probably give the slight, it's tough to say, they're pretty similar, they clearly influenced one another. If I had to pick, I probably would actually still go with the Road to 56 one though. Even though there's a couple of bugs, I really would get pissed about the whole that you have to take the colonial cities. Like if you don't get the event, you basically have to turn it into a world conquest, and that's one of my least favorite things about Hearts of Iron 4 Vanilla, is that every freaking achievement turns into a world conquest run, and it really gets on my nerves. Yeah, so here I didn't public, like, see, it's 42 and I still don't have the click because I was going for the achievement in that one, but that was nice fun. A couple of ones that I picked up. Alright, so this is something I wanted to talk a little bit more about, the Praetorians campaign I did here. Oh, terrific desktop for it. So Praetorians, for those of you who don't know, was a real-time strategy game. Shoot, I don't even know when it came out. I want to say this might have been like 2003 this game came out. And I did a live stream tutorial in which I played the first 4 parts. And so the reason I did it as a live stream was so that people could ask me questions as I played. And this didn't have very much success, I would say. I think it's, you know, it's not in 1080p. It's impossible to get into 1080p as far as I could tell on the internet. And without going to extraordinary lengths that I just plain didn't want to go through, I think it was fine. Plus, it like kind of would look stretched, weird. But anyway, this was a real-time strategy game that's mostly based around the conquest of Gaul by Caesar. I thought it was really fun. It's one of those games that has like a higher skill ceiling than you might realize at first. I used to have tons of fun doing the battle maps on these, but we were going to go through the campaign, and I was just showing the tutorial here. And then I did part 5, and that's weird. Part 6 should be up here as well. And I think because people just weren't watching it. Like, look at this. Only 333 views on this part 5, and it's just one person saying nostalgia, and that's really not. I would hardly say that's engagement, is one person just saying nostalgia. And that, again, that's really weird. But this sometimes happens when there's a series that I've abandoned. I usually will have 1, 2, maybe even more episodes already recorded, and I just never upload them because nobody cares about them. But this is something that I've been considering bringing back to the channel. I don't think it would get very many views. It can be a little bit slow at points, but I do think it's a really fun one. And it goes beyond the conquest in Gauls. You also are going to follow Crassus in the east, and the Egyptians get involved. It was a really fun ancient Rome campaign, and I do want to bring some ancient Rome content to the channel because you guys know I like to talk about historical context all the time. So I think some ancient Rome is in order for the channel. So. This might come back. If it does, I'm just going to give it a couple of episodes of try. Now, I know some of you are already saying, what about Imperator Rome? I'll talk about that in the 2019 video. So, but Praetorians, this was definitely a failure of a campaign. There was quite a few of them this year. Over here, we've got the Yunnan. And also, notice where this is. You see, I was putting this up while I was putting up the China Elite Difficulty campaign. And I think I think I might even still be the only person on YouTube who did Yunnan. It's just a minor Chinese warlord. It wasn't exactly, a popular choice that people were chomping at the bit to play. But the Yunnan campaign didn't get very many views, as you can see, but I still really enjoyed it, except for the whole it had to turn into a world conquest if I wanted everything. But it was interesting messing with the border skirmishes mechanic. I was able to kind of get bigger. The thing was, because of the border skirmishes and because I did start as such a small minor, it was difficult to expand in any sort of a fast way. And so, as you can see here, by the time I got about half of China, it's already 1941. By the time I'm actually fighting Japan, it was 1945. So we were really, really far behind in terms of that. But it made for something that was very different, I felt, in Hearts of Iron 4. And so I really enjoyed that campaign. It's really a cult classic if I mean it for myself, but it's one of my campaigns that I think is super underrated and people don't talk about. Because people will talk about, or people compliment me on certain campaigns, they'll talk about certain campaigns, and I feel like that's one that people should bring up more. I was really pleased with it. Okay, the Minor Mondays, I kind of talked about this with the other campaign, the progress reports. This is the same thing. Everything I said about the progress reports applies here. Although I do remember here, yeah, this was the big reason. So, as you can see in May of 2018, and this is kind of important for the rest of the year in review, I did the announcement, and this was the video where I announced that I was doing a full freeze on all Kaiserite content. And this might be one of the most important things of the video I talk about right here. Not that I have notes, but I was putting out a ton of Kaiserite content around this time, and I was also doing other stuff. I was trying to make Praetorians happen. I was trying to do Equestriate War, because I think I had already started playing Equestriate War by this time. And people just kept harassing me on every fucking video. Like, that wasn't Kaiserreich. Where's the Kaiserreich? Where's the Kaiserreich? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And as I talked about before, I was really trying to diversify the channel. That's one of the things I was so happy about how well the Irish campaign did, because it was bringing tens of thousands of people to the channel, and it wasn't Hearts of Iron 4, because I don't want to be known. I would hate to be known as a Hearts of Iron 4 player. I want to be known as, like, a history game player, and I'm working on that. But I just remember there was this one guy especially, his name was Tibet, and he would spam dozens of comments on all of my videos, just dozens and dozens of them, nonstop, every one. But he wasn't the only one. He was just the worst example of it. And I just remember I finally said in here, you know what? Enjoy this Minor Monday, because Kaiserreich is suspended indefinitely. Yeah, and then I said I might bring back the progress reports before Kaiserreich goes away. And then, yeah, I actually linked to the guy who you can blame. I said, hey, everybody, go to this guy and thank him for it being canceled. So that was interesting. Let's see how long it did take. So that was it. I took the summer off from Kaiserreich because, yeah, look at here. This was in May. And then I didn't upload Kaiserreich content again until August. But I think that was ultimately actually pretty good for the channel because I was doing other things during that time. So moving on, here's another one of the things I tried to do. I tried to do a Surviving Mars campaign. I was able to get the early access for it. I love this game. I actually play it off screen sometimes. I thought this was great. I love builders. The whole space exploration thing was really fun. I really loved the different things that can happen, like the plague, and that there could be wars on Earth, and you have refugees. But as you can see, the first episode, now this was early access stuff, you know, I was like, there's only so many people on YouTube who had the early access, and yet even then, it's like, I got less than 1,000 views on this. I'm pretty sure I wasn't bringing anybody new. There were a few comments, but like, this is exactly the kind of shit that I'm talking about, though. So this is somebody who was complimenting me, and I did appreciate this. He was just a fan from the Netherlands, but even then, he's talking about Hearts of Iron 4, which was a little bit annoying to me. And you know, I think one thing that kind of hurt it is I talked about how I didn't want this to be a series where everybody was constantly being edgy, because I like to relax mostly when I'm doing city builders. And then right here, this is the future of an Entente win, and it's like, nobody's talking about what's actually going on in the campaign, and especially once we go to the second one here, because I had planned 3 different Surviving Mars campaigns because I thought people would enjoy this. So I was going to do this, and then I don't remember what the second one was, but then I was going to do like the religious cult. I had all sorts of fun ideas. Yeah, second one just interesting. That was it. 259, and I think once again this is another one where I think I had two more episodes already recorded, and I just stopped recording. I just stopped uploading them because nobody was watching. And you know, it's oh gosh, it's so cold. It's like early in the morning right now, and it's been an unusually cold year in my hometown. So a little cold here, but you know, I know for sure that nobody, like, here's the thing that is the biggest indicator for me that I can just go ahead and safely abandon a series, is if it's been a few days and nobody has mentioned that the series stopped. For example, if I go more than a couple of days without uploading most of my campaigns, people will start spamming in other videos, like, where is it? Where's the next Crusader Kings 2 Spain? Where's the next Pelle's America? Where's this? Where's that? So I know that there's people watching it, and they're wondering where it is. But I've never abandoned a campaign and had somebody ask where it was. Like, and I don't think I've ever even really announced it when I abandon campaigns. I just do. And yeah, it's been. I guess the good news is that I've never disappointed anyone when I do it. But Surviving Mars, I was really disappointed that didn't go well. And so then here we come over here to Equestria at War. So this was one of the things that started to use up my time. After when I took that hiatus, and I was really, really happy with this mod. I was introduced to it this year. This was the Lunar Republic, not the Lunar Republic, the Lunar Empire, Lunar Republic separate. That I did super long first episode, as you can see, almost an hour and a half, and it just was such a different experience. It was such a breath of fresh air for me as far as playing Hearts of Iron 4 goes. The AI was actually competent. It was a good AI. It was a totally different world. There were all these new nations to learn about. This wasn't alternate history. This was just something completely new. I mean, the entire second continent of Griffonia was original content. The one over here on the right, and it just gave me so many new possibilities and like reinvigorated me wanting to play Hearts of Iron 4, which is something, again, I've said I don't want to be known as that kind of YouTuber, but I think this also brought a lot of new people to the channel. Like, for example, this might be my least successful series. 23,000 views here. And this was actually the updated version that people didn't have access to. They graciously gave me the early copy, so that was nice. But I was really happy. Yeah, I keep saying I'm happy. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. That's the drinking game. Happy, happy, happy. Happy New Year. Now, this turned out to be a really controversial mod. And if you actually go and watch this episode that I have on right here, I think I say in the first minute, if you're somebody who hates this campaign because, there's pictures of horses, I hate this now. And like, you're lost, dude. You're missing out on definitely one of the best mods, definitely the best total conversion mod on the workshop. And like, if you can't handle that because of the pictures, you're fucking lost, dude. But I also talked about how and I've said this repeatedly ever since. Like, this happened in March, and I still to this day, like just the other day, I got comments like this. People will comment on these series, and they just get so goddamn angry. They will rant and rave with tons of grammatical errors and misspellings, of course, about how they hate this. They can't stand to see it in their feed. They get so angry that I make these and they have to watch them. And then that's the one where I'm going, it's like, nobody's making you watch it, dude. There's people who I'm subscribed to, and not that I have time to watch very many YouTube videos. Like, I can't watch them as much anymore. I'm usually busy, so if I'm gonna be on YouTube, it's because I'm making them. But like, think of like Mini a True Nerd. He's one of my favorite guys on YouTube. He has like dozens of games that he plays. Do you think everybody watches every one of them? I sure don't. I don't know what Frostpunk is, so I just don't watch that one. And if, let's say, he played a game that I hated, like what's a game I don't like? Like, I don't like EU4. Sorry, everybody, it just never clicked with me. But like, let's say he was playing EU4, am I gonna go on his EU4 videos and comment, I hate EU4, stop fucking playing it? Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it, just ignore it. And people get so damn mad. But this was a great start to a wonderful relationship with Equestria at War. Continuing on through the year, I remember I then followed this up with the Arcturian Order. I talked about this in my top 10 campaigns. Just a really nice, unique campaign in Equestria at War, really showing off more of the possibilities. And then I went into the Griffonian Empire. So at this point, I was on my third Equestrian at War campaign in like a matter of weeks. So this one was really influenced by the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And you're kind of the main antagonist of this continent, where you're just trying to take over the whole continent, or at least most of it, because that is your proper play, damn it. And this was fun. Yeah, I did do the Duchess route. This I think I basically turned it into a world conquest. There might have been a couple of small nations at the end that I didn't take over, but there was really no point. Like, here, let's go into the late game. Yeah, so as you can see, I took over the whole continent, Dread League, and stuff, so I ended up getting into a war with Equestria over here, and this took up most of the last third of the series. Was me being at war with them. Equestria, actually, by the time you're watching this, my Changeling campaign can go up, as you will see, and as many know. I hate fighting Equestria in this mod. That's probably why I spend most of my time over on the Griffonian continent, but I need to learn to get better at it. That's me. But this was, another good campaign, and actually, the Griffonian Empire seems to be a relatively popular one. For example, what's his name? He used to work for Paradox. I think they fired him though. I don't know for sure. I just heard they fired him because I guess he did something bad on a stream. But that guy, I don't remember his name, but he's Daniel. His real name's Daniel. He did a couple of streams, I want to say a month ago, of Hearts of Equestria at War, and he played the Griffonians. And since that happened, it's almost like because you had somebody who was actually a big name play this, there's been a destigmatization. And I've just been noticing not any big names, but still a lot more smaller channels have started to play Equestria at War, which is really cool, I think. And it's actually why I didn't do the Lake City Principality, which is here in the River Federation. Like, this is an old video, so like, if we come over here, the River Federation does not look like that anymore. But, like, I didn't play the Lake Principality because that's the one that you can create the Holy Pony Empire with, and everybody started to play it. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm happy that there's more people playing Equestria at War now, and why should I play, though, the same one that everybody else is doing? So I ended up playing Nimbussia, and that ended up becoming one of my favorite campaigns of the year. Alright, and then this was the return to Kaiserreich, the Italian Republic. Wait, was this, or was it? No, it wasn't. This was actually before I went on the hiatus. Oh, I think it was in 0.7 that I did the comeback. So the Italian Republic, this was another one of my favorites. A lot of people did not like the Italianization of Italy in Kaiserreich. I thought it was good. It's really interesting. Although I think Sardinia might still be bugged to this day. I don't think it gets cores, which I do not appreciate. But this was just a fun campaign, against playing as a minor nation. A lot of my own fate was in my hands. There was a couple of bugs that had happened, but it ended up working out in the end, and we united Italy. And then this was actually, this was one of my biggest episode 1s ever. Actually, not anymore, I think, but still, 31,000 views, not bad at all. Alright, and then we got some more Equestria at War that I was doing. When was this? This was late April. Yeah, I was really cranking them out at first. Like, if anybody wasn't around back then, I was just so thrilled to have something new and different to play. And, I think it was because I was doing all this Equestria at War that some people started to get so mad. But you got to remember, I was concurrently also putting out Equestria at War. In fact, if I remember correctly, because I had a light spring semester, a very light spring semester, I was sometimes uploading 2 or 3 videos a day for, I think I went like over a month at that pace. And it still was not enough for people. And I remember I'd sometimes argue with people because I was telling them, look, I put out at least 1 Kaiserreich video a day, not counting the Minor Mondays and progress reports and stuff. Is there any other channel on YouTube that is giving you Kaiserreich content daily? I don't know them if there is, and it's like, and so why are you upset that I'm doing other stuff? If you care so much about Kaiserreich, it's still coming out. Anyway, so this was Stalingrad, and actually, I don't know when this video is going to go up, but at some point today, actually, like, I remember when I started this campaign, the big reason for doing it, as you can see, it's called Victor and Vasily, is because this little pony down here is based on me. Of course, that's not what I look like, but like basically, I was given the opportunity to have a pony be in the game, and so I said, okay, like as a general, and so I said, okay, make him a general, and make him a bearer of artillery, because because I served in the artillery when I used to be in the military. And then they said, okay, so what should it look like? And I said, you know what? Because I wanted something unique that stood out, and so I said, I've never seen a pony with an afro. I've seen them with braids, I've seen them with mohawks, and like I was thinking about a mohawk maybe, but I said, get a pony with an afro. And it was so funny because they put me in Stalingrad, and incidentally, I said put me in Stalingrad because I wanted it to be a popular country, so lots of people played him. And I didn't want to put it in Equestria, though, because everybody would be playing Pinkie Pie and Applejack and, like, the characters from the show. So I said, put me in Stalingrad. And because I'm in Stalingrad, people have told me they didn't realize the pony had an afro. They thought it was a Ushenka, you know, those, I think it's pronounced that way, you know, the Russian hats, which is so funny to me. It's like, maybe it should have that, like put a little pony star or whatever in there, but I just thought that was funny. So anyway, what I was saying earlier though, I said I was going to do all 3 of Staliningrad's paths at some point. At some point today, either before or after this video goes up, I'm going to be doing Darkwing. I'm going to have the first video of the Darkwing going up. So look forward to that. But this one went nice. I did some role-playing. A lot of volunteers, a lot of puppets. And that was just another fun one. So the recurring theme here was that Equestria War was, I think, one of the best things that happened to this channel this year. Like, I got 11,000 new subscribers. Do you think that was mostly people with Kaiserreich? I actually don't think so. Did a couple of guides. Recently did another one here for Wingbardy, so I'm trying to get back into that again. They're obviously not as popular as my Kaiserreich guides. I don't know why. A lot of Equestria Wars countries are much more complicated than the stuff that goes on in Kaiserreich, so if anything, a guide is needed more. This one definitely has the most views because a lot of people want to know how to do the Solar Empire, which I'll talk about later. So another thing I did over the summer was the House Capet. Actually, this was another late April. Yeah, I was so busy in that late April, early May. So yeah, I'm pumping out CK2 stuff. This was another one that went very well. Played with a non-bookmark start as King Philip Augustus. This was the famous episode where I impregnated a 12-year-old, breaking the game's mechanics by accidentally finding a loophole. But this one went very well. Unfortunately, spoilers for it here, but like, you know, things went very well by the end. Unfortunately, I was never able to get the part 13, which would have been the finale, out. But we're gonna see here, and you should definitely check this out just for the journey, because the journey was amazing. Of me making my comeback here in France. Can I get to the map, please? Yeah, so this is what I looked like at the end, but I was just about to declare war on, it was either Christopher here or his kid, for all of England, and I completely had them outnumbered. I had the Allies on my side. There was absolutely no question that my empire was going to absorb England and Aquitaine, and so like all of it would be France. Ireland, Great Britain, and France. It would all be me, and that would have been the culmination of the series. Unfortunately, my save got broken, but that shit happens, you know. But very, very fun campaign. Was very pleased with it. And yeah, it was yet another Catholic feudal monarch, though. So as you can see, I did a lot of those this year, which is why in 2019 I'm going to try to, maybe I'll do one, but I really want to get away from playing Catholic feudal monarchs. So this was the first Stellaris full campaign I tried to do on the channel. As you can see, episode 1. Only 1,600 views. It was a disaster. I had made up this Holy Insurance Clergy, which is going to be part of the Stellaris free-for-all I've got coming up, but once again, I think I had 6 episodes recorded of this. By the time we're getting to episode 3, there's only 2 comments. One person is, you know, they're like, okay, it's a great video, but I just stopped uploading it and nobody cared. And, like over here, yeah, a lot of it just was bad. Nobody watched it, so I quit uploading it. EU, okay, so funny story about EU Rome. So this was sort of, it was a live stream / guide, how to win the civil war as Pompeii in EU Rome. So I was super excited for this. Let's see, when did this come out? May 17th, 2018. I had been super excited about this. Because I thought, oh, EU4, there's so many good starting dates. Like, you can fight the Punic Wars, you can do stuff out in Syria, you know, you can do the Roman Civil War, there's Augustus, you can fight the Macedonians. A lot of interesting possibilities here. And I went with the Pompeii one, and I was so, and people seemed pretty engaged. I remember in the live stream, so this was something that I think could have been much better. This was a good live stream. I think actually I cut this because I think the first one I screwed something up and I lost the war almost immediately. But yeah, this was super fun. But here was the problem. Check the date on this. This was May 17th, 2018. I don't remember exactly what day PDXCon was, but I want to say the day after this went up, they announced Imperator Rome. I couldn't believe it. It was just, God Fuck me. Now this was when I first hit 10,000 in my Ruby Foundation, and look, a bunch of people are talking about the Ruby desktop, but I remember my community tab had just started, and so I posted a screenshot of Johan, who's the head of Paradox, and he had the toga, and I caught a freeze frame with his arms out, so it looks like he's in a T pose, like, you know, the power pose, and he goes, "Furthermore, conquering history games shall be destroyed," and it's like, we're gonna announce Imperator Rome, which is basically EU Rome 2, just to spite him, because he's like trying to introduce an older Paradox game that never got a sequel, so just completely screw me, right? But this was, you know, maybe like if Imperator Rome falls on its face, I might play more EU Rome, because maybe people will be interested in that. Okay, now we're coming over here to Führerreich. This was another one that was introduced to the channel. I got early access to this. I think I might have been the only YouTuber who got early access, because I think one of the devs told me just nobody had asked. And I pumped out like 5 Führerreich campaigns this year. And so this was one of the ones that I think was I remember, yeah, Führerreich was definitely filling the time when I dropped Kaiserreich for all those months. So of course I played with Argentina, because I find, you know, with these kind of alternate history mods, South America is usually a good place to start if they have if they've got some focuses. Damn, this looks good. What mod was I using here? That looks really nice. The coloration. Anyway, like the textures. So this went very, very well. Yeah, I ended up getting down here to, let's see, Argentina, America. Yeah, I took over the whole Western Hemisphere. And, you know, we got to see what was going on in the rest of the world, but it definitely piqued my interest enough, so we were just observing, and very interesting. So remember, this is the double blind mod. I then did the Hearts of Iron 4, Germany, Führerreich, yeah, because you know, you got to do Germany in these alternate histories. This was one of the most popular videos I ever put up, almost 40,000 views right here. Comments, rating, review. Can't wait to read this. Hold on, you're about to get entertained right here. Yeah, it's just a series of comments where people are arguing the validity of the Holocaust. Those are always fun. Anyway, so Germany was good. I think I played this one a little bit too slow. I don't think I even started the war until like 1940, but I guess I was just having too much fun observing what was going around me. It was a fun country, a little bit too one note, but because it's basically, do you want Hitler or do you not want Hitler? And I didn't go Hitler, and everybody got mad. You gotta play Hitler, and it's just, yes, I understand, this is Hearts of Iron 4, there's a certain subset, I'm very aware of this portion of the fan base. Anyway, this was the heavy hitter. This was one of my favorites of the year. The United Kingdom in Führerreich, just a spectacular mod. I definitely want to play some more Führerreich in the future if they can continue to make things of this quality. I think 0.2 is supposed to come out in the first half of 2019, and I think that's going to fill in Japan and the East, so look forward to that. But it's also going to, I think, rework some areas like Hungary and stuff. And a lot of people thought this was a joke mod, and I always tell them, go play the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, it's so full of events, it's a great focus tree, there's so much replayability. You can probably play the United Kingdom like 4 times and each one be completely different, maybe even more than that. Different alliances and stuff that you could do. So this one really fun. I was all over the world, and in fact it was the inspiration for a Stellaris campaign that I was going to do later, because this also virtually turned into a world conquest until it just got to those last few countries where I just didn't want to continue to do the justifications. It was just going to be too boring by the end, but that was a super fun campaign. Now here we go, Stellaris attempt part 2 for the year. Distant Stars. Yet another unmitigated disaster. So the thing with the Gecko Empire, this was a little better because you can see I got 2,000 views off of it. But my thinking had been, all right, the first one failed for a couple of reasons. It probably was mostly, though, that I just played this original content thing and there was no hook. People are like, okay, so some dude on YouTube is playing Stellaris and there's geckos? What? I don't care. So I based this one. This was the Stellaris Distant Stars. I got early access. And I was able to play it early. Now, because this was a story pack, I thought, well, let me base this on some science fiction. And so I made a series of civilizations that were based on the works of Robert Heinlein, who's my favorite science fiction author. A lot of these civilizations are also reappearing in my what do you call it? The Stellaris Free for All campaign. But this was once again an unmitigated disaster. By the time we're going to episode 2, the views have been cut in half. Let's see, what are the comments? We got like 9 people. You know, people are just, and they're giving like a lot of generic comments like Xeno must die or be turned into cattle and eaten, slave maybe. Then again, this is how I typically play Stellaris. Extra periods, ha ha ha, extra periods. You know, I had a typo in the title, so that was one of the fucking comments. And then by the time we're even getting to like episode 4, we're down to under 500 people and nobody's commenting. And then I look at the analytics and I realize people are only clicking on this video because they're clicking on it to then click on, like, because they misclicked and then they go to my name. You know, they're the two, like, so they click on this video and then they come over here. Like, that's the concept. They're not actually watching any of it. And then eventually I just stopped. I stopped uploading it once again, so it was yet another disastrous Stellaris campaign. Then we came over here and we had the Kaiserreich multiplayer. I did this one with the man with 2 N's. That was fun. This was a short one. It was only 4-parter, but it went well. And actually, special note on this one, with the National France campaign here, I finally managed to, also Gur made a reappearance. With this campaign, I managed to finally achieve a long-term goal of mine in Kaiserreich, which was to play a country of every single political ideology, and the only ones I hadn't done yet were social conservative. I had done everything else. And so then I was able to checkmark that here. So there was that. That was probably the biggest highlight for me of this campaign. Actually, that's not true. Although here's something that kind of annoyed me. So, let me be really clear. I don't kiss the team's ass, the Kaiserreich team's ass. I'm still really annoyed because so this came out in May 29th, 2018. When me and everybody else were recording this series, we had done, I think, the first 2 or 3 parts, and then the Kaiserreich team in the Discord revealed that they were going to redo National France, which... Like, that's like, I'm telling you, I have like some sort of monkey's paw thing or a curse, I don't know, but every time I put out a series, it's time for it to get reworked. So that's one of the things that frustrates me and why I don't put out guides as often as I used to, because it just gets it gets old. Anyway, but they were going to redo National France's tree. Well, not redo it, but basically they were going to give it more options for after they took Paris, including an ability to go to war with Germany and possibly Belgium and the Netherlands, depending on what sort of borders that you wanted to create. I think they could also go to war with Italy or something. Don't quote me on the Italy thing. I feel like that's not right. But that was in May of 2018, so it was this year, but it has been months and months. Like, how hard is it to incorporate like 3 or 4 national focuses that give you post-war stuff? Just saying. Get it done, Kaiserreich team, please. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Okay, moving back over here to Führerreich. So this one I did a live stream of the Ottomans. This was fun. Ended with me losing, but it definitely was one of the most fun losses that I ever took. My allies were not helping me in the way that they should. So this was a fun one. Good live stream. And it's now become yet another example of something that I point to when I talk about not that I ever get accused of cheating, but it's always like, I just remember I went down in flames on this one, even though it was a lot of fun. Like, here, let's kind of look at the end here. Wait, did I not put the others in the playlist? That's weird. Well, I eventually got surrounded and did my last stand at Constantinople, but this was all still early access, I think. But the idea was that I just remember I was making my last stand, and I kept joking, saying, if anyone ever accuses me of cheating, I'm going to point them right to this campaign. Anyway, so that was fun. Then we had the Führerreich Quetzalcoatl, Mexico, or Quetzalcoatl, Mexico. This is kind of funny because actually I didn't check what the Ottomans was, but I believe this had the least amount of views of any of my Führerreich campaigns. And even though I had the anime girl, so So I had been working on my thumbnail, and then somebody had told me that there was because I'd said, I think in my Discord, I'm doing a Quetzalcoatl Mexico, and then somebody said, are you going to put the anime girl in your thumbnail? And I said, what are you talking about? And so apparently there's some anime where a bunch of gods are the maids for somebody, or I'm not entirely sure, but this is supposed to be Quetzalcoatl. And so I included it in the thumbnail. And people got pissed and called it clickbait, and then I said, it's the least clicked of all of my videos on Führerreich. I think that's the opposite of clickbait. Anyway, that was a fun one. Continuing a long time for, I did a Führerreich guide. I need to actually finish that one up. I feel so awful now that I see that. Civilization 5, another disaster. Nobody cared. There's a lot of comments on the first one. I know I put up another couple of videos. I guess I just didn't put them in the playlist, but I know more went up. And by the time I was at episode 3, it was all over. Nobody was watching anymore. But Civ 5, I'm going to try to bring back with some mods. I've actually been pre-recording some stuff already, but that's like for 2019. But I hope to bring Civ 5 back in some way, because I sure don't like 6. All right. Then you have the Moe Restoration. This was the first Moe campaign I did for the channel. This is in 0.6. We're on 0.8 now, I think. And once again, controversy, a lot of controversy, but just like Equestria at War, people get extremely upset about it. But what I did for this, and the same thing I did for Equestria at War, is at first I just played it. I didn't really talk, well, more so with this one, I just didn't talk about that they were anime pictures. And everybody got upset. Well, not everybody, but lots of people got upset. But I knew it was just a vocal minority. Because, like, if we just go in a little more, you still thousands of people. Oh yeah, I think I had to reset it because the update happened and it broke. But there were people watching these. Unfortunately, I got a lot of bad RNG rolls on this campaign, so I'm not a big fan of that one. In fact, I would just recommend you don't watch it. But still, it was a start. So then I had over here some Steam cleans. Once again, why are there not? There should be a lot more things in here. But these are just some live streams I did of. I found this. I got told to check out this website by a publisher I had content called Whovit, which I think it's called Whovit, where basically I was able to get free games, and they were different games depending on what I qualified for. But that was kind of fun. That was also over the summer. Gave me stuff to do when I was not playing Kaiserreich. It's because I'm always trying to diversify, and that's going to be a big goal in 2019. Daybreaker campaign. This one actually has less views than it should because I had to delete the playlist and start over because I think there was an update or something, or I'm trying to remember what happened. Something happened and I had to delete like the first 3 episodes and start over. I don't remember what. But this was another good one to turn into a world conquest because the sun has to cover all. And there's nothing I can say about Equestria at War that I haven't already. Another live stream here that not too many views, but I was still experimenting over the summer, trying to see what people were into. This was a fun little real-time one where you're the Polish defending against the Germans. It was surprisingly difficult as you moved on. Then I finally made my Kaiserreich comeback here in August, the Christmas coup hangover. And one thing I noticed, something that I took note of when I came back was there was a much lower view count than you'd normally expect for whenever I put out a Kaiserreich video. Now, this has not been universal, but I just remember watching that and I thought, okay, so this basically confirmed some suspicions that I'd had that Kaiserreich was big as a fad. Just like, because there's fads, and I don't want to be somebody who rides fads. I want to do the stuff I want to do, not ride those waves. So I guess like the latest fad, for example, as I'm starting to see it on so many of my videos, it keeps coming up in my live stream, is the New Order, the New Order, the New Order, the New Order. It's a new mod that's going to be coming out for Hearts of Iron 4. And I think I once started to check it out, and I think the thing's been in development for almost a year and it's not out yet. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'd rather they put out something that's good. But it's like some huge inside joke that everybody says, oh, the New Order, it's going to be amazing. It's going to change the game. I don't know about that, but that's going to be a fad for a little while. Like Kaiserreich was kind of a fad for a little while, and Old World Blues was a fad. Now, of course, people move on, and a lot of people stay behind. I think Kaiserreich is still the most popular mod on the Steam Workshop. I might have to double check that, but it's like I want to build a base. Like I don't if I did have to be known as the Hearts of Iron 4 guy, I'd like to be known as the Kaiserite guy, 'cause that's my thing. Not somebody who chases fads, and maybe that's not the best thing for subscribers, but things like I often on my Discord will joke saying, wow, my subscriber base is really growing. Time to put out another Equestria at War one to clear some of them out, because I'll get a new wave of a few thousand subscribers for something, and then I put out an Equestria at War video and they get mad, and then they claim they're not subscribing, but if they do, then there's more people subscribing at a faster rate, because I never see a dip in subscribers. But I do see a dip in people complaining, usually after a little while. So this might sound weird, but I literally do Moe Reich and Equestria at War campaigns sometimes just to purge when my subscriber count is starting to get a little higher, because I want to clear out a certain type of person who might be a subscriber. The kind of people who get pissed about that sort of thing, I want them to leave. I literally do it till they leave. It's because I enjoy it. Alright, here's another series that I would want to try to come back, or at least finish this one up, the Battle of Westnoth, The Tale of Two Brothers. So this is a quick, almost tutorial campaign, but as you can see, by the time you're in the second episode, oh geez, the infamous artillery-only shit. I'm saying, talk about fads. But by episode 2, you're only getting like 500, and especially nowadays, when I've got 18,000 subscribers, when I see something that's not even hitting 1,000 views, that's telling me somebody only clicked on it to get to my channel. And they're not actually going to watch a video. They're just clicking the video, and then they're going to click here. You know what I mean? Or it's like, it was a misclick. Like, that's margin of error when it's that low. So, Westnoth, hex-based, turn-based strategy. Definitely want to bring it back. That's in some way. Maybe do another short campaign. I'm not going to do the Heir to the Throne, but I want to finish this one up, and then maybe do another as well. But I think it's a seriously underrated game. I first learned it when I switched to Linux a couple of years ago. And so a lot of games that only worked on Windows didn't work anymore, and my buddy introduced me to this game, and it's just super duper fun. Plus I have the no randomness mod on, so I don't get hit with bullshit. So, moving on. We're getting close to the end of the year now. Rome 2, Rise of the Republic. This one, once again, why are there not more? I know I recorded more than one episode. So I only got about 2,300 views on here, which I was actually surprised. I thought it was going to be much more for when Rise of the Republic came out. And I was super excited about this because I always wanted to do Ancient Rome campaigns so I can talk about, like, some sort of game so I can talk about that era. And I really enjoyed the whole concept of the Rise of the Republic. Wow, let's just get clouds. Just clouds, clouds, clouds. You can't see the map. I was excited about Rise of the Republic because it's kind of like this legendary in the ancient myths era of Rome. Before it's even like, yeah, just when Rome doesn't even control all of Italy. It doesn't even control like a third of Italy. It's basically still just a tiny little city-state. I thought it was super fun. And yeah, I know there was more. That is so weird that I've only got one in the playlist. Anyway, but the game just fucking sucks. I have no way else to describe it, and that's a real shame because Rome 2 and a lot of its expansions are some of the most interesting time periods for me. So, for example, the Peloponnesian War you can play in one of the DLCs for Rome 2, but it's just such a fundamentally broken-ass game, especially Rise of the Republic. It was just Civil War Simulator, the game. And you know what, I'm fine with Civil Wars, but you know what I'm not fine with? When there's a Civil War, and then the rebels spawn with troops that are better than yours, and they're somehow building forces that it's literally impossible for them to build. That was the breaking point for me when like, I started to, like, check the consoles and stuff, do some console switching, and yeah, I would just realize that my enemies, it would be literally impossible for them to build certain units because they didn't have the buildings for it, and then they would anyway. And that's when I said, I'm fucking done with this. This is bullshit. And I hate what Total War has become. It was actually what my channel originally started with, and I do want to bring it back, but Rome 2 was just, I was more pissed at, like, it wasn't that people weren't watching, because they were. It was mostly I just was completely pissed off with what the game was. I want to play a game. I don't want the game to play me. All right, now over here we got a double header. We have the Phthisia and Aquileian Republic campaigns. These ones I think just got broken because of an update, which was unfortunate. They were both fun, but they were kind of similar campaigns. It's too bad, but I'm not going to cry about it. I was just sorry I disappointed some people. So then, speaking of updates, so I put out this CK2 Egypt, and this one was another one that got a big bunch of views, and I was happy about that. But then, what happened? Was there an update? Something happened that I stopped this campaign. I wish I could remember what, which is a shame because it was the first time I'd played a Muslim. But expect to see at least one Muslim campaign in the new year. Probably two. I've got a couple of different ideas, but it was fun because I was really glad that this got so many views. And once again, it was reinforcing that there was a segment of my fan base that was interested in Crusader Kings 2. And they were very engaged. Look at this, over 100 views. A lot of new subscribers came along with this. And I'm always happy when that happens because I don't want to be a Hearts of Iron 4 channel. I did some achievement hunting this year also. That's always nice. I don't think I'm ever going to 100% Hearts of Iron 4 just because World Conquest, lol, for everything. This is an idea I was playing with, the idea of doing some achievement guides. So I did this video, which I thought was pretty cool, how you can do 3 of the Chinese achievements and do an invasion and save the Byzantine Empire. And all of this was in less than 10 minutes. But people didn't really seem to care too much. I did also the CK2 Dev Diaries, once again, like the progress reports. It was just too much to keep up with. Indo-Chinese Union, just another Kaiserreich campaign. I was just trying to knock out in the second half of this year nations that I really wanted to play, because part of my 2019 plans is I want to draw back how much of that I'm doing. Of course, 0.8 had different plans, right? Did the Griffonian Republic. This was a nice one. Once again, just kind of being a minor nation on the outskirts and working your way in towards being one of the bigger powers around is it's kind of always a fun way to play. So this was good. We had a lot of successes. I think I ended the year pretty strongly. But then, of course, Kaiserreich 0.8 dropped, and that busted everything wide open right again. I went through this period where Kaiserreich updated, Moereich updated, Equestria War updated with the Riverlands one, which was a huge update. Then there was Stellaris and Crusader Kings 2, and I had so many new people coming in that at one point I got like 1,000 subscribers in 5 days. and like there was more than just that, but they were just pouring in so quickly. Now my main goal for the early part for January, to be specific, of I'm not going to click through these since these are more recent ones, but I want to finish all these Kaiserreich campaigns except for which one? Except for Combined Syndicates of America, because that one just requires editing, so it's going to take longer. But the idea is that MacArthur's America, Pacific States of America, some of these are already done, but of the Kaiserreich campaigns I started, that being MacArthur's America, Combined Syndicates of America, Pacific States of America, United States of America, Pelle's America, and the Union of Socialist American States, I want all of those to be done, except for the Combined Syndicates, because it's going to be too hard, but to be done by the end of January, preferably by the time I have to go back to school. And then after that, it's just going to be one Kaiserreich campaign at a time, except for the Combined Syndicates one, because again, it's going to take a while. So that's the plan, and then we're going to just move to just one Kaiserreich campaign at a time, and I want to start putting a greater emphasis on doing guides again. Because other people can do Let's Plays, but I'm like the only person who does guides, I think. No, actually, there's one other person I've seen. But these all were very, very good for the channel. Absolute successes. Some of them more popular than others. Pelle's America was really popular, so was MacArthur's America. And then anything that's to the left, not so much, but that's just the community. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but that's just the way it is. I also finally got a completed Moereich campaign out, so I was happy about that. In fact, I believe this was one of my top 10 campaigns of the year. A lot of my best campaigns of the year, I thought some of my favorites were here at the end. We also had a River Republic run here that was good, trying out the new mechanics. Kind of went with the most vanilla of them all. And then we have Crusader Kings 2. We had 2 more Crusader Kings 2 campaigns come out. The Reconquista, this one has been spectacular. I've loved this guy. It's technically not over yet. There should be another episode up today. But King Fernando, just incredible character, and like if it wasn't for the fact that I want to make him a saint after he I want to have him become a saint, I would end it when he dies, because it's just the best run I've ever seen in a single starting character ever, and he is a historical figure on top of that, so it's just incredible. Definitely check that out. And then the Teutonic Order. I'm so pleased with how this turned out, because look at this. We're at over 60,000 views. This is, as of the time of this recording, the second most popular video I've ever put out. More than any guide, more than the start of any Kaiserreich campaign, well, except for the Lawrence guide, and that one's always getting constantly linked even to this day. So like, I doubt anything is ever gonna top that one. I'd be so happy if something could. I'd be over the moon if something ever knocked that one off. But just apparently, I was the only one who played the Teutonic Knights. Like, why would nobody else play the Teutonic Knights? It's in the frickin' poster on the at the start of the like, it's in all the promotional art. It's the Teutonic Order. So this was a short campaign because there's only so much you can do as a Holy Order, but I did accomplish my goals, and yeah, it was awesome. I was very, very pleased with this. Expect to see much more CK2 in the new year. Then let's see, we had the Nimbusian War. Finally, this is going to be the last Stellaris Let's Play I ever do. Yet another disaster. This one got a whole 4,000 views, but again, I think it was a combination of the early access. You had a lot of people coming in off of the new Kaiserreich and Crusader Kings 2 and Moe Reich and Equestriate War stuff, who are also going, wow, this guy's new, he's entertaining, I haven't seen his stuff. Let me check out his Stellaris run. And by the time we're at 3, barely breaking 1,000, I ended the series. Nobody complained about it, even though it was also based on my Führerreich thing. But now this is something totally different, but I'm really excited about it. You know, it's one of those things like, you know what, I don't care about the views, I'm going to finish this for myself. My Stellaris Custom Civilizations series, where I'm just making different custom civs based on different motifs. So like, this is the Disney World one. I've got some Starship Troopers going down here. And what I started to do after the first couple of them is I started to actually build them in front of the camera, so to speak, so that people could see my thought process in making these civilizations. And this is all going to lead to like an observation game, since there's now the new observer mode in the newest iteration of Stellaris. And we're going to see who wins, and people have been getting really interested in it. They're like the different ones. Like, I have the Chevalier Technocracy, which is an original content one, but I've also got like the Planet of the Audreys, which is based on Little Shop of Horrors. I just recently, so as of when I'm recording this, the last one I put out is Highlands Howard Families, which this is a human civilization, but these are my personal favorites. I'm going to be rooting for them to win. I don't think they're going to, but in fact, I think they're going to go down in flames. But it's going to be fun. Definitely check this out. It's not a Let's Play. It's something very different, where I just go through the civs and explain how they work, and then like people are already starting to get their favorites and which ones they like. There are some people who know me in real life who watch my videos, and for at least one of them, I think he said like, this is his favorite thing that's going on right now, is this custom civilization thing leading up to the free-for-all. And then finally, you know, we had some World at War diversification, and then this Changeling campaign, which there's still one more campaign. This is not actually gonna be the last campaign of 2018. There's gonna be one more that's gonna start, that's gonna go up later today. But that was basically the year in the review. And you know what, I was gonna talk about how my personal 2018 went. Like, I'll just say, like so many things in life, you gotta take the bad with the good. It was an overwhelmingly good year. I'm more excited than ever with how my schooling is going, and there were some rough times. It was a pretty rough October, a very, very bad October. Definitely was one of those months, like, you ever have those months in your life where you're just like, I'm gonna remember that one forever. And October 2018 was like that. But you know, you just got to keep going through it. I've said before, not on the channel, but like in my personal, like, some of the best moments I've ever had in my life have been while some of the worst things in my life have been going on. Because that's just the way life is. Sometimes there's good, sometimes there's bad. Sometimes they're in the same day. And you just gotta sometimes you gotta embrace that stoic side of you and just recite a little Rudyard Kipling and move on. Incidentally, anybody who's interested in Stoicism, you should definitely check out Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. But it was a good year, a couple weddings, and I love going to weddings. Got a niece or a nephew on the way, a new one. That was like the Christmas present reveal to the family. What else is going on? I'm trying to think of like 2018 review. Yeah, the schooling's going great. Held down a couple of different jobs. I'm hoping to get a different one. I'm hoping that I'm going to become a teacher aide in January. I'm still working on the process for that. But I never really talk too much about what my real jobs are because like I fluctuate from them. Like I started the year as a security officer. I was working at a warehouse at one point. I just go wherever the hours are. Like in the past, I've taken pay cuts to get better hours. Whatever works with school. School has always been my number one priority, and I kind of I treat school as my job because that's the most important thing that I need to get done. Trying to think of other 2018 things that aren't too personal. Like I'm not going to talk about my love life. But yeah, it was a good 2018 for the channel. I think 2019 could be even better. I'm not expecting to see the kind of huge growth that we did. What I want to basically do in 2019, the short version of the 2019 preview video, is I don't want to focus on having more subscribers. I want to focus on having a more engaged community. That's the short version of it. But thanks for holy shit, this wasn't over an hour. The sun is out now. Looking out my window. So yeah, I'm just gonna now take it easy. Yeah, the soundtrack's over. I'm just gonna take it easy and today for New Year's Eve partying tonight. Be safe out there, everybody. Remember that New Year's Eve is amateur night. That's what I always call it. Because that's when people who don't drink or they drink very little all year round decide they're going to get completely fucked up. And they get stupid and people get hurt. In fact, it's always been a personal rule of mine. I never drink on New Year's Eve until I'm at the place where I'm going to crash for the night. So that way I don't have to hit the road. And yeah, just even then, even if you're sober, keep an eye out. Amateur night, New Year's. You know what's a great analogy? I once heard somebody said, New Year's Eve is to drinking what 420 is to people smoking pot. So it's like the ironic thing because I'm somebody who's like into craft beer and nice liquors and stuff. So I kind of steadily drink all year round for special occasions, like we're just trying things, and then I drink a significantly less amount on New Year's Eve because I'm trying to keep my wits about me. Because it's almost like an obstacle. Like it just don't become a tragedy on New Year's Eve, please. Everybody get there safe, and yeah, you have a good 2019 and a happy New Year. Spend it with people you love. If you have to choose between spending it with people you love and going to the office party, go with the ones that you love. I don't go to huge events anymore. Believe me, you'll be much happier for it. Spend some time with the people you actually care about. I'm Conquering History Games, and Happy New Year.